What's up everyone? I'm glad y'all clicked on this video. I guess you clicked on it because you were curious about what I have on game camera and the year-long soak of the camera. But first just wanted to come on here and tell y'all we're ready for the 2021-2022 deer season. Kind of took a break from YouTube, had some family stuff going on, got married, moved to a new house. Actually have a different kind of studio for these kind of videos. So actually working on getting the hunting studio done for these videos for y'all, but really excited about this upcoming season. Got public land, private land, a lot of cool things set up to video and pursue this season. So with further ado, we're gonna go back and look at my adventure to go get this camera. I actually didn't video putting it out, I just videoed pulling it. So this was back in January, right when the season ended. So ran up in there, and I mean the rest of the video will kind of tell you, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about what I found on this camera. Some pretty neat things, and we'll just dissect it. So hope y'all enjoy it. Okay guys, so the deer season in Georgia just ended. It's January 10th, I think is the last day of their season. Today is the 13th. Just got off work, so I'm gonna run back here. Somebody shooting a gun or something. I'm gonna run back up here in the mountains where I had this camera on this saddle. There's a bunch of buck beds around it, put it up on a scrape, made a mock scrape. So I'm gonna go pull that camera, and then I'm gonna show y'all what's on that camera from September to now. So it should be an interesting video. Right there. There's all this stuff. So I haven't even got in that far yet. I'm already seeing buck sign. I'm a little cold. Got to keep walking. But I don't think that's turkeys. That's bugs. There's rubs all in here. I'm already running out of breath, but I find a lot of turkey scratching right here. I'm right here on the property line. I swear if that dog comes over here. Big trail right here. That's private. There's another ridge over there. I jumped a buck up there during the summer. Can't see it, but I was coming up here on this, the first saddle. I didn't put my camera on this one. There's one more, but that deer was right in that saddle and bumped off. There were buck beds all right there this summer, so they feel protected right there. That's cool. So you can see, comes down here, that buck was somewhere in here. He went up that hill right there. But it comes in a big bowl, but where I'm hunting, wraps around right here, goes right there, and that's where my camera is on that saddle. It's great. Wow.
And then that. That's the shear. There's deer in here like crazy right now. There's mountain laurel all over that hillside. And like 4 or 5 deer just ran up that other hillside. My camera is right here. It was looking at all those scrapes. I'm excited to look at this. I hope y'all are too.
So that was a pretty neat area that y'all saw from the mountains, and actually bumped a buck out of there. And then also from my camera, after I pulled it, you'll see that day they were all on the saddle that I showed where the camera was. But before I jump into showing y'all the pictures, I'm gonna just kind of throw up map imagery from Hunt Stand to kind of show y'all what I'm dealing with. So we'll throw it up right here. And you'll see the first buck bed, it's sitting at, one of the highest points in the area, and there's another buck bed in front of that. So I found both of those early season, and just, said, hey, this would be a good place to put a camera. But I kept on walking, and I ended up finding where you see the crossing right there. There was a heavy crossing. You see that in the video as I'm walking towards this saddle. But this saddle is you don't see it on the map as distinct as it is in person. It's a lot thinner, a lot more heavily used, and you just have to, what people say, put boots on the ground to actually find this. But also, when I walked up to check the camera, and I was talking about there's tons of deer around here, you'll see this other bedding pen to the bottom left, and that's a laurel thicket. So those deer are sitting in there and concentrating in that thicket. So you have 2 areas where they can bed to watch your entrance and, a possible exit route that somebody could come in on. So they're really secure in this area, but you'll see where I have the scrape pen, that's where the scrape was. So basically there's bedding all surrounded this one saddle, and those deer just sit there like it's their little hub. I mean, I very rarely got any nighttime pictures, so this was a very heavily used daylight area where these bucks were cruising, and they were actually using this saddle going east to west instead of north and south. So they weren't running directly down it, they were crossing through it basically. So real neat stuff as far as the mapping aspect and how to read a map. So if I could encourage you to do anything, learn how to read a map. But with further ado, we're going to jump into these videos. I've been saying pictures, but I put this on video mode. So it's video mode with a Tasco. So bear with me. It's a little grainy, but you get the idea. So you see right here, the first buck came in. It was on the 26th of September. I'd made a mock scrape right here for them to, just kind of stop. It looked like it was a community scrape from previous years, so I just freshened it up, peed in a little bit, and just to see what these bucks did. But you can see real early, starting in October, it got really heated. This buck sitting here licking the branch, doing it. And then here's another buck came in, pretty regular, but I'm going to let this kind of play through and let y'all kind of see him. I'll speed it up a little bit so we're not here all night. So I thought this is pretty cool video mode. If you had it on picture mode, you wouldn't see this, but these 2 bucks are sparring. The buck to the left was the biggest buck I had in there all season. He comes back later in November, but they're just kind of, walking around. But the 16th seemed like a really hot day on this saddle for these deer to come in. I had multiple bucks coming in and using it. From the 16th, you see 17th, they're really, really using this area. So this buck that just came in the frame, I actually had a picture of him on 2 ridges over. Came through, had a cell link in there that sent me the picture. I was hunting somewhere else. But then he comes back the next morning, coming in, just checking the same scrape. You know, this is November 8th, really using this, but just shows how much they'll travel through the ridges. But a real wide deer, but something interesting happens to him. And then here's that biggest buck that I was telling y'all about from the early bow season video. This is the 24th of November, but he comes in, you know, tall, heavy looking deer, checking that scrape. Then here's a nighttime photo, you know, just come in, or nighttime video. You can see some kind of fronts moving through because of all the wind that's going through this saddle right here. Then you got a snow day, pretty cool video stuff right there. So the wide deer I was telling y'all about, he was there the 24th and shows up on, I think, the 3rd of December, and he has half a rack. Is broken off right there, and looks to be in okay physical condition. But then out of all the time this camera's been out here, this is the only hunter that came. He ended up showing up twice. This was a gun hunt that he showed up on, but that was the only sign of a person coming in here. So that just shows you, if you get off the beaten path, not too many people come through there, but he was walking around at 10. So then that half rack buck comes in, you know, a couple days later, full rut. And if you see this and slow it down, he's got a broke back leg. His back left leg is broke. So he must have been hit by a car, broke his rack off, then got hit by a car. He just, bad day for this man. So whenever I put a camera up there, if he shows up and we see, you know, some rack change, we'll note that. This next video is kind of disturbing. I've never seen this, never had this on camera, but a lot of light was going in. But if you look at this doe, she got shot in the face, or actually a button buck got shot in the face during a gun hunt, I reckon, or on the private land, and didn't kill it. So that just shows, you know, don't try to do a headshot on a deer. I mean, the chances of you killing it instantly, yeah, that'll happen, but the risk of actually injuring it, and like this deer, it probably, or I know it broke its jaw, and it's then unable to eat, and then it dies and suffers. So as a hunter and a outdoorsman, we don't want our animals to suffer when we shoot them, or to harvest them, or to kill them. We just want it to, you know, we want it to happen fast and be done quick. But in this case, it actually turned out worse than you could think. But we're going to speed up the footage right here and look at just does and how these deer move. You can see east and west movement on these deer moving through. But this was right up to the last day of the season. These deer were using this scrape, staying very active. And then you can see these bucks were here. I think that was the day I ended up actually going out there on the 13th. They were there around lunch. So they then went and bedded down, and I bumped them that evening, going in there to check it after work. So that's going to wrap that video up. I am very intrigued with trail cameras. That's the first time I've left one for that long. I left it from September to January. Got a whole season's intel on one area. So I plan to really focus on that area this year. I know there's bucks in there. I know there's bucks using the area. Just access is hard. Like I showed you, that saddle's just loaded with bedding and multiple beds all around there. So got to really figure out how to do that. But I hope y'all, you know, could have learned something from this, whether it be how long to leave a trail camera and what kind of intel you can get from a year's worth of intel, or just the mapping aspect of it. I know we didn't go over it too in detail, but, you know, just learning how to read a saddle, know where points are, where bedding points are, how they use the north side slopes. You know, Mountain Laurel is bedding areas in these high elevation areas as well. So that's going to wrap that up, and we're going to get out. I got more scouting videos coming as far as setting up cameras, mock scrapes, stuff like that. all that is in the works, and we are back in gear. And don't forget, if you like this video, to like it, and then also subscribe. And if there's something you want to know as far as mapping and stuff I didn't go into real detail about, leave a comment. Let me know, and we can sort out a video, just for that. But I appreciate y'all again. Once again, subscribe, and y'all have a good one.